Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, but you can call me Grizzer, and this is where we get you caught up with some of the latest news and the tidbits that are tied to our favorite team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns, the elf on the wall. Should have told you. Thank you to everybody who has liked our previous episodes, to all of you who have subscribed to the channel. We are like that close to 13,000. When we get there, we will change the fit for just one show. That's what we do when we cross the threshold on subscribers on our little show. We give the orange quarter zip a rest and we change the fit, and we will do that once we hit 13,000 subscribers. And then also thank you to everyone who gets your comments down there in the viewer comment section. You guys are a huge part of our program. Now, coming up on today's show, the Browns have another big name coming in for an interview on Monday as we get one step closer to finding our new head coach. From the department of you can't win for trying, the team's thorough interview process is coming under fire, but we also are going to find out if Grant Udinski, who just interviewed yesterday, would be the right coach for Shedeur. The prediction pen is here. Going to help us create a short list from the short list of coaches that we have. We're going to find a coach, folks, with the prediction pen. But as we always do, we always give the prediction pen a warm-up. I mean, it's Saturday. We got Snowmageddon going on. It could have slept in a little bit, and so we always give it a warm-up question. And it's the same warm-up question every week. The question is, will this be a good show? If you're lucky. Okay, so that's typically the response from the prediction pen. At least it wasn't like not for $1 million. And, I'd have been telling you to go head back to the fireplace to stay warm. But, okay, we'll take that if you're lucky. Okay. And then down in the viewer comments, what one viewer says is a turnoff to Browns coaching candidates. We'll have to find out what's going on there. But first things first, Monday, Rams pass game specialist Nate Scheelhaas will be here. One of the other top candidates. The Browns have targeted Jaguars offensive coordinator Grant Udinski, the Doogie Howser of football. He's only 30 years old. Went through his interview process yesterday in Berea. No leaks. Nobody's saying how it went, but the Browns did say they completed it. So Udinski in the fold with this second interview. Don't forget, they still have to find another minority candidate to satisfy the Rooney Rule. But Jim Schwartz and Todd Monken also still very much in the mix. So those are all your second interviewers. And Scheelhaas will become the fourth one on Monday. Still also Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula, Bengals offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher, Seahawks defensive coordinator Aiden Dirty. All still on my list until proven otherwise. But right now they are locked in to landing either Nate Scheelhaas, Grant Udinski, and then Jim Schwartz is there as a safety net, and Todd Monken is there as a safety net too. Maybe not so much for head coach, but potentially for offensive coordinator. And so the process rolls along out there in Berea. So, and I fully expect the Browns to name a coach by the end of the upcoming week. So I don't think this is going to, I think a lot of the teams will start naming coaches here this week before you get into the week before the Super Bowl. And now you have a chance to talk to everybody, and things will probably move really fast for all the teams this week. So the Browns, using their thorough interview process to find a coach, and they also are using a former GM of the Raiders, Tom Telesco. This came out yesterday that Telesco is helping with the in-person meetings with the candidates. And so he's helping them find a new head coach. And if you remember, it was like 6 weeks ago that we had heard, Josina Anderson reported that the Browns had talked to Telesco and former Dolphins GM Chris Grier, and nobody was sure what it was for. And everybody was leading. It was like, is this going to be for the Di Podesta opening? Are these two, one of these two, going to become the new Paul Di Podesta, or is Andrew Berry on the hot seat? Are they looking for a GM to come in and replace Berry? Nobody really. Now we know. But what this tells you is that they have known for weeks that Kevin was out. And remember, I kept telling you, he looked like a dead man walking. He looked like a dead man walking. And now we know 100% that was the case. So Telesco was in there to help with the coaching search. So you don't bring somebody in to help you with a coaching search unless you're going to have a coaching search. And so I thought that was very interesting yesterday. But then the other thing that came out that just was not so interesting was this interview with Tom Pelissero on the Rich Eisen show. And he starts explaining that, the Browns are a data-driven, operation, and they're requiring head coaches to do some extra things throughout the process. And he said that the process includes non-standard requirements like personality tests, written essays, or homework assignments, and other detailed evaluations that go beyond the typical NFL interviews. And while some teams have displayed a more decisive process, and they have focused on fit and vision. The Browns are being called out for having a process that's unusual, overly bureaucratic, drawn out, and off-putting to candidates. But this comes from the you can't win for trying department. I mean, the Browns just can't win, because I guarantee you, had they gone and interviewed 5 or 6 people right out of the gate, satisfied the Rooney Rule, grabbed a coach in the first week and moved on, everybody would be clowning them and going, up, same old Browns, rushing into the decision for the next head coach, just running right through it. Don't even take your time. Look for the best candidate, just rush it. I guarantee you the Browns would be clowning if the process had gone the other way. If it was a fast process, they're going to get hammered. But because it's a thorough process, they're still going to get hammered. And the problem is, people look at this more as a failed system, because they said, well, they've been doing this since 2016 with this, and it hasn't worked. It's failed. They've gone through it one time. You have to remember, this is like your coach's combine. You're bringing you don't hire a head coach every single day. And the Browns haven't gone through this in 6 years. And this is the process they used when they found Kevin. And Kevin hung around for a little while. It seemed like it was going to work out. But then his offense went to trash. And they had to get rid of him. He wouldn't change. I mean, you learn things as you go along. But they're trying to vet this situation. And to just say, oh, well, I mean, they've been doing this since 2016. It doesn't work. They've used this process once. And it's not that out of the ordinary. I've gone through interviews like this, multiple rounds, more than 2 even, multiple rounds of interviews, writing tests and essays and all these other things that you have to do, in order to get the job. Like, I've been through it. So it's not that out of the ordinary. But the Browns are low-hanging fruit. And it's like high school, man. Like, everybody picks on the weekend. Like, can you just stop with this? I mean, geez. And on top of that, Jimmy Haslam, his stepmother, just died, and they had the memorial service for her this week. And so that's why there was a lack of interviews in the middle of the week. So it's like the Browns can't catch a break. Can you please just stop piling on? Because this is not that out of the ordinary. Maybe in the NFL it's a little different. But they're vetting it. They're making sure they're going through the process to dot all of their I's and cross all of their T's to make sure they get the person that aligns best with what they want to do. That's it. It's that simple. Everybody has their own way of doing it. And by the way, the last time I checked, the Browns aren't the only team still looking for a head coach. Why aren't we clowning all those other teams in their process? Like, it's just frustrating as a fan to have to go through this, and watch the Browns get picked on all the time for doing the right thing. Because I guarantee, had they rushed through this process, people would have been all over them anyway. They can't win for trying. But what might lead to more wins is if Grant Udinski becomes the head coach or potentially the offensive coordinator. And I'm wondering, since he was here yesterday and went through his in-person interview out there in Berea, I'm like, how does he line up with Shedeur and his strengths? If the Browns are going forward with Shedeur, would Grant Udinski be a good fit for our QB1. And what I found is this. Grant Udinski is considered a strong fit to develop Shedeur Sanders, especially in terms of scheme, teaching, and quarterback mindset. His experience teaching footwork, progression structure, and NFL passing game detail are just a few of the reasons why he develops a forward-thinking, detailed-oriented offensive program that's tailored to timing slash processing quarterback, which Shedeur can be. And so, he profiles as a quarterback-friendly coach with developmental benefit. And so, remember, he just launched Trevor Lawrence to the best season of his career, and he reinvigorated the career of Sam Darnold. And so that's why this intrigues me. The Udinski thing has to be intriguing to Browns fans, because if he can come in here and take what Shedeur has already learned and what Shedeur has already shown and take it to the next level, then the sky's the limit, especially after rebuilding the offensive line and adding some new weapons. Like, the sky is the limit. So, yes, this is why the Browns are so high on Udinski, because he lines up with what they want to accomplish. And if you're Udinski, why wouldn't you want to be part of that and be able to take this team and this offense to the next level and get it to the playoffs? You become an instant legend in this town if you can do that. And the same goes for Shieldhaas. And we'll look more at him and his alignment in the next couple of days. But this is why they're locking in on these guys, because of they're able to develop quarterbacks. Kevin was supposed to be able to do that. Didn't do it. Was supposed to be the quarterback whisperer, was the quarterback worsener. As it all, in the end, that's what he was, a quarterback worsener. None of these guys got any better. He either chased them out of town or drove them into the ground, and that was it. So they are trying to make sure that they know they got it with Munkin. They know what he did with Lamar. So there's your safety net at OC there. But let's vet the young guns and see. Let's see if they have the potential to do it. And right now, it looks like they do. Now, we got names on this list of head coaches. And so we have Grant Udinski, we have Jim Schwartz, we have Todd Monken, we have Nate Shieldhaas on the list. We have to get it down to a short list. And then we will also ask the prediction pen about the other three candidates, if they even have a chance. We will lump them all into one little bucket. But we will start, since we're talking about Grant Udinski. And boy, prediction pen, you better be right about this one. Meaning, say he's going to be the next head coach. Here we go. Prediction pen. We're just completing the short list. This is not for head coach, because we could have the same answer. We don't know. The prediction pen has a mind of its own. But prediction pen. Will Grant Udinski make the cut and be on the Browns' short list of head coaching candidates? Not for $1 million. That is not good. Not good. We're off to a bad start. Off to a rough start with the prediction pen already. Oh, he says Grant is out. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Will Jim Schwartz? There's a chance none of these guys make the list with the prediction pen. Who knows? Will Jim Schwartz, the Browns' current defensive coordinator, make it to the short list of head coaching candidates? It's unclear. Ask again. Usually the next round is always a good answer, but we shall see. Will Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, make it to the short list of head coaching candidates for our Brownies? Not for $1 million. Schwartz is off the list too. See, here we go. Prediction pen. Oh, boy. I think the snow is, the fern is getting into the head of the prediction pen. Okay. Former Ravens offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, who has interviewed twice for the Browns head coaching job. Will Todd Monken make the short list of Browns head coaching candidates? Dude, no way. Okay, so we don't have a coach yet. It's down to Nate Shieldhaas. Or it could be the guys in the bullpen. We'll find out. But we're down to Nate Shieldhaas. None of these guys have made the short list according to the prediction pen, which is impossible. But, prediction pen. Will Rams pass game specialist Nate Shieldhaas, who will interview on Monday, will he make the short list of Browns head coaching candidates? If you're lucky, okay. So he likes Shieldhouse. Okay, and then we have 3 guys waiting out in the wings. And we're going to see if they're going to get back into the mix here this week. But prediction pen. Will either Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula, Bengals offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher, or Seahawks defensive coordinator Aiden Dirty, do they even have a chance to get back on the short list this week? Unclear, ask again. Do Shula, Pitcher, or Dirty have a chance to get back onto the short list this week? If you're lucky. Could it be Pitcher? Pitcher's the only one that I would, because that offense, what they do in Cincinnati. Plus, he knows the division. I like guys that know the division. So, there we go. Shieldhouse is the only guy that the prediction pen seems to like. So, and then potentially one of the guys who are still waiting out in the wings. I don't think that's possible, but I mean, it is Saturday, the prediction pen, and been worried about the storm all week. So the prediction pen, a bit distracted. Now, what we're never distracted by, of course, are the viewer comments. And we will start today with Country T9577, who says, this is what we teased at the top. He said, I think the Browns analytics department is a turnoff for coaches if the rumors are true. Here's the thing. The Browns aren't the only team that do analytics. You know, every single NFL team has 2 or 3 full-time staff members who handle analytics. It's a fact. And the Browns, yes, do they rely on it a little more? Yes, but things are changing. So there's you don't know the conversations that are going on when these candidates come in. But every team uses analytics. So analytics are not a turnoff because every team, even the league uses it. You see all those next-gen stat commercials and all that other stuff. Like, analytics are a huge part of what is happening in the NFL, both in individual teams and league-wide. Leslie Pearson, 7711, says, why don't the Browns just hire Jim Schwartz as the next head coach? They need to. I'd rather have Jim Schwartz than to have Grant. To be honest, because Jim Schwartz has head coach experience, he really does, and Grant doesn't. I'm just saying. Leslie, I'm with you. And I think the Browns look at this as a win-win with the candidates like we've been talking about all along. You've got your seasoned veteran, coaches with experience, and you got your young guns. They're going to vet both sides and then determine, no, let's go, and maybe they've talked to Monken about the OC job. Maybe Monken doesn't want to leave the division. Maybe he wants to stick it to Baltimore. Maybe he wants to stay in the division. I love all those. Are all huge motivating factors for me. Sign them up. Like, if you can't get one of the young guns, I've been saying it all along. My worst fear, and Joe Thomas put out a video the other day too. He said the biggest thing, he's saying, it's not that it won't work because it worked with the Rams with McVay, but hiring a young guy with no experience, they have to know how to handle so many other things. Whether it's the media and you're more of that CEO type where you have to oversee all of the departments and these guys have not had a ton of experience. Now, Udinski's had more experience in the NFL, so he's got that going for him. He's got that over Shieldhouse, but that's the risk you run. It's just on-the-job training, which is what I've been saying, all along. I don't know what, the question is it better to have a young coach with all of these young players and they're all going through it together? And I think the thinking there is you get them all when they're hitting their prime in 2029 when that new stadium opens. Your other option is you go with it's more the safer route. You go with the experience like Schwartz at head coach and Monken OC, and then you find a DC, maybe promote Ephraim Banda to DC and go that route. So there are options, and I think that's how the Browns are approaching this. I think they are too. They're in a good spot. You got very good options. They're going to vet them all, and we shall see. John Newcomb T7V says, the problem is if you don't hire Schwartz, he's going to be a 49ers DC. That has already been said by the 49ers. That has not already been said by the 49ers. It was Richard Sherman, I think on some podcast, who said the 49ers should go out and get Schwartz. Remember, Robert Saleh ran off and got himself a head coaching job. And so Richard Sherman is far from the 49ers have already said that. No, the Browns have already said they want to keep Schwartz. They want to retain him. You know, if he's not the head coach, they want him to stay on as the defensive coordinator. They'll give him an assistant head coach title as well, which he already has. But they'll give him more money. They will do everything they possibly can because the locker room loves him. They are not letting Schwartzy get out the door. MSA 6844. Remember we talked about free agent tight ends because I think they're not going to pay Njoku. But MSA says keep Njoku because he's a good player and loves everybody on the team. Yes, but remember, got to follow the money. Money talks. It don't sing and dance and it don't walk. Remember that. Forever in blue jeans. Always remember, when you're talking about free agents, forever in blue jeans. Money talks. And so the Browns aren't going to talk with money when it comes to Njoku because he's 29 and he doesn't have the stats that command. But if, you know, for a locker room guy or whatever, you want to, like, yeah, I'm fine with that. Like what the Guardians do with Austin Hedges. I mean, the guy can't hit to save his life, but he's a decent defensive catcher, but he's a great locker room guy. He's like another head coach. And so if you can get that out of Njoku, then fine. But they're not breaking the bank for Njoku. Hall of Fame Bullies. Hall of Fame Bully says, damn, can we just let the Stefanski hate go? Go Browns. And so I'm like, okay, I do like to clown on Stefanski but I've got to show you this. I have to know if you guys saw this. Did you see that video of Myles Garrett standing behind Stefanski when he was trying to do one of his fake head coach rah-rah speeches after a win, like he had anything to do with it? And the first thing he comes out and he goes, I do not lie to you. Do I ever lie? I don't lie to you. And look at the look on Myles Garrett's face. He rolls his eyes and he is looking at somebody as he's saying it. And, this comes from Rashad Jennings' TikTok. And if you could go find this, the video. It might be his Instagram. It might be a reel. But go find this because the look on Garrett's face is telling. And so if you cannot sit there and tell me that Garrett did not have something to say about the head coach after the season was over, but the look on his face when Stefanski says, I don't lie, Garrett's like, yeah, very telling. And so Hall of Fame Bullies, this is why. It's all starting to come out. Stefanski was a big problem. I've been trying to point this out. Like the way, and he's already getting clowned. He put out a press release or something in Atlanta, and it sounded like it came from the CEO of like United Airlines or something. Like it's all this corporate mumbo jumbo in a press release that's supposed to be about a football team. I'm telling you, man. And it's just it's that corporating, it's that corporate type atmosphere that he brings that people, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work in the NFL, man. That's why we need football guys in here, man. We need football guys like Schwartz, like Monken, like Shieldhaus, like Udinski. Give me football guys, not corporation leaders. That's what I need. All right, and we'll end today with just a girl, 007. And I think we started something here with the Nate Benghazi thing. The other day, Bargatze. I still can't say his name. The comedian who looked like the Jaguars defensive coordinator, because we got another one. We got another look-alike. Because Just a Girl said that they do look alike, the Jaguars defensive coordinator and Nate Bargatze. Say, but not as much as the Miami general manager and a new head coach. I thought I was seeing double during their press conference. And so here we go. Here's round two. You decide. Now, I think the other one is more of a match, but there is John Eric Sullivan on the left of your screen, and then to the far right is Jeff Hafley, the new coach. That's the owner of the Dolphins, Stephen M. Ross, probably standing on a stack of cash. He's a billionaire in between them. But do they look alike? Yes, but I didn't get the same. I was jarred by the Benghazi Campanelli thing. But Just a Girl, you're not wrong. I mean, definitely they look very similar. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's what the owner likes. He likes guys to fit that. Maybe that's how they pick their coaches. That's their process, right? They go, look, as long as you look like this, we'll hire you. As long as you look like our GM, then I know you guys will be aligned and you got the job. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody get off the brownies about this interview process, please. Please. It's just so easy. It's the bullies, man. The bullies like to pick on the weak kids, man. Just get off the Browns and let it. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And I think they're doing a lot of things the right way. Got to vet it, man. You got to vet it. And if they rushed into this, they'd be getting clowned anyway. So there we go. All right. Tomorrow, I'm going to mention the one quarterback, the only quarterback I would consider in this upcoming draft. And it really has nothing to do with football reasons. We're going to talk about that on tomorrow's show. All right, stay warm, stay out of the snow, shovel if you have to, but remember, take breaks. Don't, it's super icy too. And man, out, where we are in Ohio, geez, oh man, between the ice and it's like -3 today, and then we're going to get hammered with snow tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Going to be fun. But hey, that's why we live here. That's why we love it. All right, go Browns. We will see you next time.